But as far as like that transition over to the next topic, man, Terrence Whaley, your boy LeBron James is 40 years of age. We already know his accomplishments: four-time NBA MVP, Finals MVP, champion, 20-time All-Star, 13-time All-NBA, all-time leading scorer in the NBA, one with three different franchises as the number one. He got Bronny into the league. He's done so much for player empowerment, player movement, and he's
Mhm.
2-12 in his last playoff games. At
Damn.
this point, it's like, yeah. At this
Jesus.
point, it's just like, what else do you kind of have to prove? And I was listening to Jeff Teague podcast the other day. He was just like, you can tell LeBron like he's already done what he's had to do. Like, when have you ever seen him in the playoffs, like just cheesing, having a conversation with the opposition halfway through the game and whatnot? But my question for you is, man, like, what's next for LeBron? I mean, do you see him? Do you see him retiring? Right now, do you think he has more to give? You think he's still in that competitive mindset? Like, what do you think is going on?
Yeah, I think he's just preparing the rollout. I think this next year is gonna be the last one. Just because I mean, from a fan perspective, I can see it. Like I can't like when I was watching the Minnesota series, I couldn't envision he won't obviously play all 82 games, but I just couldn't imagine him going through a full season at how he looks foot speed wise out there on the court. So I just feel like it can't it has to be this year. And it makes sense. It's poetic. I think I was telling Carl, I was like, it's like year 23. I feel like that's perfect for Nike to like serve that up on a silver platter. You talk to the league, you let them know ahead of time before they do the schedule. I feel like he'll maybe announce it before like the NBA releases the schedule for the regular season. That way they can make sure like, his last home game is or his last game of the season, regular season is at home, even though they'll probably be a playoff team. And then just yeah, this will be it. I feel like he'll transition nicely into ownership. I just feel like whether or not it's going to be the expansion team in Las Vegas or not, but I can't see it. I cannot see past next year though. Like unless he's just like fucking, I'm just scoring at this point, which I can't see because even like in that Netflix documentary, like he was talking about if there's somebody that's more in condition than me or whatever. And Minnesota tweeted that shit out, and I was like, damn, they got your ass. And Netflix knew too because they're the ones that cut that, and edit that up. Like it was perfect for Ant to be next right after that statement. So I do think it's next year. You know, that's how I feel.
Yeah, man. The thing is, he can still give you a minimum of like 28 and 6. But I mean, for him, if he still cares about championship and wants to run it back one last year, bro, like I know, I mean, I feel like he's gotten to a point where he's made all the money he can possibly make. But it would be nice for him to see him take a pay cut, kind of like how Tim Duncan and what's his name, Dirk did as well too, to try to build around him as well. But I just don't see unless you move
When
Reeves.
people Yeah, yeah, that. But I'm also like when people say pay cut, I'm not exactly sure how much that legally like he can cut from his salary. Because I remember last year like it was something about like 6 million or something like that to like help
Get
It
bring
was
on
Clay
like
Klay
potentially.
Thompson
three or
in the
four million.
MLE. Oh, okay, okay. So it's like it can't be too much. So I mean, I wouldn't be. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if a player was on the market, he would think about doing it, which is what the reports were last year. But I think it's more so that he'll keep the money and they'll try to move Austin.
I
Mm.
saw that
Not to their advantage, not to that they want to, but that I think that that's what it will take.
real.
What you
I
say,
actually
Carl?
to that end, and of course, people are people, so they always change their minds. But I did see a report that already said that he was not going to be taking no pay cut this next year. He already
Yeah,
did
I
say
saw
that
it
they
too.
didn't do shit with it, and he's not about that.
Mm. Damn. Yeah, that's tough then. Yeah, man, like I said, I ain't really the thing is like I kind of got bamboozled a little bit and ignored the red flags with this series versus Minnesota, but at the end of the day, like y'all just were not built for this year.
We couldn't defend. We weren't big. We weren't. We just,
Yeah.
you know,
I
yeah.
think it's interesting because when they first got Luca, I don't know if we had something then, but I know just like the kind of general talk and when I was talking to people as well, it was like if they don't get a big, which they weren't able to, it just didn't seem like they were going to be that great this year. I didn't feel like they were going to be a contender. But as the regular season went on, they started winning a bunch of games and they finished as the 3 seed. So I think that flipped everybody's perception. But then when they got into this round with Minnesota, who actually has bigs, it became like, oh no, this is what we were saying when that trade initially happened. It just you have so much variation in the regular season that it's kind of easy to hide that sometimes.
Hmm.
But when you get a bad matchup in the playoffs, yeah,
Surely
Mm.
it's man, like just like the level of physicality, like it just was we could not match that shit. And then Jaden McDaniels and
That's
um
really.
no, I was gonna say Nikhil Alexander, like between them picking up full court between the both of
yeah.
them, it's just like that just wore on Luca too.
Doc, he like, what do y'all think that shit is with Luca? Like, I don't mean to go off on a little tangent. I'm gonna just keep this quick. Like, do you think it's just like physically how he's built, or like he just not trying at all? Cause that shit is nasty, bro.
I don't think he's trying to stay in the shape that the type of shape that he can be in. I just think it's especially when people show, all the clips of when he was younger and his physique and stuff like that. I think it's clear it's possible for his body to have that physique. I think there, of course, there's probably a range of where he wants to stay in to also have a physical advantage. I think that he does the way he plays. He needs a little bit more weight on his body. But I think that I mean is what a lot of people view here is that when he was injured, he was putting on a lot of weight and just a lot of situations where he's not he's it's crazy because he's on the team with him, but he's not like LeBron about his body. Or I feel like
Mm.
he's more of like a Shaq, where it's like I know I need to stay in some type of shape, but I can still dominate in mid shape versus being 100% peak.
Yeah.
Mm.